while I was working at Microsoft, I was also full-time being the founder of an agency. And you could probably say my time was split between those two things. So usually I would start and finish my work at Microsoft from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m., much less than I was actually supposed to do, but just enough for me myself to get by. And then the rest of the day I would work basically on the agency that I was working on. Back then I had hired, we were a team of five. I had hired two interns. I was managing them while also being managed at Microsoft. But I always had the entrepreneurial bug. I uh, kind of find myself into not even enjoying my actual internship because I would just do my work so I could finish and then work on the consultancy afterwards. So that was kind of the background in working there. And I kind of was any doubts that I had about entrepreneurship, were confirmed when I was doing that internship because just didn't feel like I was living up to my actual potential working at Microsoft, and that's why I decided uh, basically when that ended, there's no way I go back to corp. Let me just work on my own stuff.
I mean, where does this come from? Are you a family of entrepreneurs? Are your friends entrepreneurs? Why are you so insistent on starting your own business?
Um, you could say some of it is family. My mom was an entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur. They both failed at their ventures. My mom started a restaurant. It closed 1 year later, made negative revenue. My dad was a prolific animator, in Montreal. He went back to Quebec, he went back, sorry, to China, started an agency there. Got millions of dollars of funding and from government in China, but he ultimately failed, lost a lot of money to a lot of people. And, they're back to their 9 to 5s today and basically almost retiring. Um, so it might have come from them, which is interesting because I never thought about it that way. I only uh, learned about it that they even had entrepreneurial journeys after I even started my own. But it's probably sipped into myself one way or another. I will say, though, on the other hand, that I had a lot of help in terms of my early friendships growing up. My co-founder behind me, Edwin, uh, we've known each other since middle school. We've been trying out different things since we were like 16, 15 years old. One of the other startups that I work really closely with that helped and coached me through my current ideas, another one of my high school friends. So I was really lucky growing up to have these friends that I was able to eventually do entrepreneurship with.
I mean, it's great to have these close friends that are as ambitious as you are. But the question here, since you were so young and you were hiring people, you were building a business, did you have any mentors, like people who did this before you, people who guided you, helped you?
Yeah, I would say my first few mentors were assigned to me through accelerators. Um, Great intentions, great people. At the end of the day, do want to help you become like your own person, learn according to certain metrics, learn according to um, like certain playbooks that they knew about. I wouldn't say that any of them were people that were entrepreneurs and succeeded as entrepreneurs. So mostly from academic backgrounds actually, and became eventually consultants. They kind of taught me a lot about a certain way of doing entrepreneurship, the way you would learn in books and learn through playbooks. And we followed that for a while. We thought that was the ground truth. We thought that was the only way you built businesses. And Lord and behold, 2 years later, it was very hard for us to get anything off the ground except the initial consultancy. So we did get help. We got a lot of people pushing us forward to do this stuff. But all the learnings we eventually did was through like our own experiences. So I would guess like the first 2 years we were actually doing entrepreneurship, we didn't get that much help. We were able to find some mentors here and there, But the good ones, that the ones that we really want to learn from, they really never had time for us. So it's kind of a trap sometimes, who you find, at least for us.
Let's talk about the accelerator because
Mhm.
a lot of people might consider it. How much value did it actually give you? How much did it change the way you think and would you recommend it to people?
So I did a couple. I did my faculty accelerator called Tech Excel from McGill. I did the Dobson Cup. I did from McGill. I did Next 36 in Toronto, and afterwards D3 from Concordia in Montreal, and then Somtech for a while. And it's it's always hard to say with these kinds of things. I'm sure there are a lot of people that get value out of them. It really depends where you are in terms of your entrepreneurial journey. And basically, the way these accelerators work, they accept a batch of people who they assume are kind of in the same stage of entrepreneurship. And they go through kind of the same the même parcours. And the we realized really early on, especially in the ones based in Montreal, that anyone that applies, there's a high amount of chance to get in because the purpose of these accelerators, at least we found, was mostly educational, helping people become entrepreneurial, which is great. But it really, we saw the other side of the coin in Toronto, where their goal, instead of just making you entrepreneurial, can and is rather, I'm trying to give you a chance to become the next unicorn from Canada. I'm trying to give you a chance to become the next Shopify. Um, and you can kind of tell between accelerators what their goal is. And because of this, the quality of people that go in is completely different. The program itself is completely different. So I would say it definitely depends on the accelerator themselves. I cannot stress enough that Next 36, especially for me, has been a transformative experience. Um, and it's not only in terms of just like bringing you together with the right people, with the right community, but kind of shedding a light into like, no bullshit, this is what entrepreneurship really is. It's not a course schedule that we're going to teach you. It's not this or that. It's just, this is going to be hard. Here are
Mm.
some people that you can like trauma bond with, and good luck.
So let's jump into your companies. Ensemble Consulting, that's the consulting you were talking about.
Yeah.
That opens for a year and a half. You shut it down. But while it was running, you opened Ensemble. Is it a
Mhm.
different one or is it another branch of the consulting firm? What was that?
So yeah, we started on consulting. The goal behind that was we want to learn about startups. We want to become a startup. We don't know how to do that. Let's learn from the best startups. So basically 2 weeks after launching, we started working with one of like a great startup. Um, Back then called QIS, now Current Spec, that are doing quite well. And we learned a lot from them. Uh, After that, we were it was it's like a pitfall that we went into is we fell into the trap of becoming consultants. So uh we got a great deal with them, win-win from both sides on development, and they helped us like in terms of finding other customers as well because they're a startup, they know other startups that need help with dev help. So we ended up doing that. But at the end of the day, the only resource we have is our own time, and we were spending it on other ideas. And it was a slow burner, but eventually we were able to like stop getting as many, I guess, that many customers. And we decided, okay, let's just go all in on startup ideas. So it was kind of a transitional period where we were like, okay, we have this background as consultants. Let's find industries where they lack tech, start as consultants, and then just build a general software for that type of industry. We tried going into real estate. We found it extremely hard. We had no idea why. Um, then we're like, okay, this isn't working. We believe that that's because real estate is still um, so connection heavy that having um, having tech is not enough of a value add. Looking back, we just weren't solving the right problem within real estate. But then we decided, okay, let's go back into accounting. Let's go into accounting, which we know it's basically just numbers. And we kind of just want to balance some documents. Let's solve problems there. Of course, same issue. We we were able to get in touch with our accounting folks, but it was extremely hard to be able to find a common problem between these people that we can solve as a whole. Um, and it's really the issue is like the value proposition, the value we were proposing was not enough, and we were doing consulting contracts at 1/10 the previous price that we had because we disguised it under pilots with these guys. Okay, we're gonna do a $500 pilot to build you something, and eventually we want to charge to you as a SaaS. But then we were just doing five different pilots for five different, completely different subsets of people, wanted to completely different things, and it's just consulting, but for one time the price. Um, Thankfully, while we were in there, we met someone that saw our product, said, "Hey, do you just want me to get rid of this for you? Like, I'll just buy the software and you can stop looking at it." Um, and that was a breath of fresh air that happened. We're still ongoing the finalization of the acquisition of that product, but so still crossing my fingers, knock on wood. Hopefully that ends up happening. And we went back to searching mode, right? And so going back in searching mode, we knew of
That
one of
was
our
really
friends.
recent, right, Simon? Like that
Yeah,
was like
that was 3 months ago. We tried going back into real estate during that time, and I think that's what's on our LinkedIn right now. But uh, haven't we did like 2 weeks of that and decided, okay, same problems. We don't want to meddle in that anymore. So yeah, that's kind of these few ideas that we've been trying around, had failing a million times, but been on the entrepreneurial journey for ever since.
so your thought process is let me look at all industries. Let
Mhm,
me look at where tech is lacking. Not necessarily something I understand right now, but let me just
mhm.
understand the industry and see where I can fit a product. Is that what you're
Yeah.
trying to do? And every time you were circling back to real estate?
Yeah, we really thought real estate was very appealing to us, right? Because the amount of capital that's inside of it, and just like how behind they are in tech. But there's a good reason behind all of that as well. Not to say that you still can't build great startups behind it. We certainly have tried, but yeah, we really liked real estate, um, but eventually decided, okay, we don't have the right skill set for now to do it. We don't have the resources, and we found something um, that is more towards the signal than real estate was, where we were kind of swimming in the dark, trying to waving our arms to find something.
So FindRE is not an active company.
No,
So you gave it a shot for a couple of weeks and then you just stopped.
yeah, we did it for 2 weeks. We had a lot of interviews, phone calls with brokers. Eventually, the reason why we stopped is at the beginning, we were trying to build play.com, which is a lead finder for real estate. So I would help real estate people find any address and phone number of anyone they want by location. So let's say I want the South Shore of Montreal. I'll get the contacts of every single one of these people. Two problems here. Number one, if I'm selling to you, you're worried about who else I'm selling it to. It's a finite resource. And I guess that's the main problem. And no, that's it. That's it was so
Mm.
obvious when we found it. We're like, okay, we can't really do this. It's not the same business model as Play, although people have built successful businesses behind lead selling. It was just not something that we believed made sense for us to spend more time on.
You know what? I feel like you're not going to give this up. Maybe not next year, maybe not in 5 years, but I think eventually you're going to get back to real estate one way
Hey
or,
man,
or another.
I think so too. I honestly think so too. After
Yeah.
fat exit, might just buy my own real estate and say, fuck it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what's the biggest lesson learned here? Is it that the importance of network, is that something you're focused on right now? Well, what is it?
Um, so at the end of the day, all this that helped me strengthen my decision is follow follow the strongest signal, right? Um, I think there were like two main speeches that resonated with me a lot. One of them is when I was part of Next 36, we had a speech at a garden by his liege, Kevin O'Leary, and and you see this in all his shorts, but it's really just like all his YouTube shorts, but it's just like stop. As an entrepreneur, all you see is going to be noise. Your goal is to differentiate between the noise and the signal. And it can be super clear what the signal is. You just put your head down and follow it. So that's kind of what we did and what we're building right now. You can see mock-ups of a mobile app right now on my co-founder's computer, but we have this friend who's doing really well in the consumer space, building applications in consumer space. And instead of just riding a wave, which we've been trying to do, is we found a speedboat in terms of this person that's doing so well and is able to coach us through the progress that we're making. And it's not like an accelerator the way we see it, because number one, these people have made it and they've made it so recently ago that we can kind of just follow their path in doing this thing. That's the way I look at it. I could be wrong. And that's entrepreneurship, right? You make assumptions, you try them and see if you're right or not. But you set along metrics and stop points along the side to see if what your initial assumptions are getting proved right one by one. And yeah, we believe that's signal. And regardless of whether it ends up being signal or not, it's like we know that we're going to learn from it.
You know, Simon, after all the conversations I've had,
Mhm.
this is probably one of the most genuine
Yeah.
because you really show that when people make it, it's not an overnight success. Like if
Mhm.
we just go back to the past 20 minutes, everything you said, it just showed that you've been iterating for a while, for years, and you've been relentless and nonstop. And that's really what it's all about, right? It's really that mindset of never giving up.
Mhm.
And something fails, you learn, you move on, you jump to the next thing.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm. Absolutely.
what keeps you going, Simon?
I want to do right by my co-founders. My co-founder. Um, I think he's brilliant. I think I'm brilliant. Um, but I want to see us succeed no matter what. And so that's on one side. And on the other side, I have this like chip on my shoulder where both my parents tried entrepreneurship and they failed. And I want to show them, hey, and it's interesting because they've done entrepreneurship and they've been kind of iffy on my own, uh, like uh, my own journey, right, thus far, because um, you know, they know how hard it is. They've been burnt by it before, and it's like as and they've seen the opportunity cost that I had, right? Which is, hey, I could have gone to SF and make like 200K, 300K at the software engineering position, working for these big firms or whatnot. Um, and sometimes I do think about that, but uh, it's hard. But I also think it's fun. I think it's fun. I think I get to be from being an entrepreneur around the coolest people, the most brilliant people I know, the people I want to be like. And it's through kind of just suffering and just iterating that I'm able to do that. But at the end of the day, and I think this is a good moment to say it, is something a mentor of mine said, and a good friend said, and this is going to come off maybe like a bit high ego or whatnot, and maybe it is, but he said to me that I am great, and but to truly realize that you're great, you need to make it. You need to realize your greatness. And I guess some part of me wants to um, fulfill that, or rather, some part of me wants to able to verify if that's true, right? So it's kind of a search for meaning in some sense, and search for like self-validation. Um, road ahead, not exactly the formula to happiness, but it's the road that I chose, and I'm sticking by it for now.
Well, if you don't believe in yourself, no one will.
Yeah.
And I think if someone listens to your story, it just shows that you're insisting and you're not letting go, and you gotta keep trying. Simon,
Mhm.
thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. It was a very interesting conversation.
Thank you very much, Antoine. Thanks for rescheduling once again, and it's my pleasure, man.